Good evening. Welcome to Robert's Reading Room and Reviews. I'm here to do Robert's Reading Room and Reviews best read of 2020. And before I get into my best read, I just want to say 2020 is a year we'll never forget with the pandemic and all of this injustice, racism going on. It's already 2021 and it's starting out crazy already with what happened on Capitol Hill just yesterday. Just it's no words to explain how they say America the beautiful and where dreams come true. Yes, for some, others no. Double standards. Not gonna continue to talk about that. But I'm here to do my book best reads for 2020, so I'm gonna start off with that. This is the first book I actually read January the 2020, the 1st of January, the new year. And I just want to say my literary twin, Diane Member, please subscribe, check her out. She has a breakdown on YouTube where she do book reviews also. She talks so for a while about this author. He's her favorite male author, and the twist, the turn, he throws stuff at you you don't see coming. With no further ado, I am talking about Mr. Brian W. Smith, Missing. This book right here was so good. It deals with Carmen Sanders, who has a baby by the name of Benny. It started off with the first page, Riverdale, Georgia, where I live. She get a phone call from her abusive boyfriend, threatening her and talking about when he get out of jail, what he's gonna do. Lo and behold, she gets little Benny, the little baby, and leaves town. Whew. When she leaves town and he gets out, a whole lot of stuff started turning. As you know, I don't tell the book, and I'm not gonna tell it. I just want to say this book right here was a page turner. I started this book at 12 o'clock, January the 1st, 2020, the new year. And the next thing I looked up, it was like almost 3 o'clock. That's how good this book is. It has some interesting characters within the book. My favorite character is Carmen's grandmother. And I just want to say, toward the end, Brian W. Smith, you shocked me and you tricked me to the point that I was like just with my mouth wide open. I highly recommend this book, Missing by Brian W. Smith. I want to say I look forward to reading more of his material, which I have plenty more of his books I got to get through. So again, please support. This is Brian W. Smith, Missing. You cannot go wrong with this one. My next book, this author reached out to me through Instagram. She was like, "Hey, I've been looking at your YouTube channel and I love what you're doing and I love your reviews. And could you please do a review for my book that I got coming out?" She was like, "I got to send it back to the editor so they can read and find errors and all of this and that. As soon as I get back, I'm gonna send it to you." So I was like, "Yes." In the meanwhile, she sent me the PDF file. My Kindle was messing up, so I was like, "What is this?" I couldn't send it over like I normally been sending. Lo and behold, Amazon Kindle done changed the way you transfer files. You can't do it. They have to accept, then you have to do this. It's a whole bunch of mess. But anyway, getting back to the review, she was like, "Well, I'm gonna send you the book." So I waited for her to send me the book. And I am talking about Sinking Sand by the lovely Miss B. Cartwright. I just want to say, love her. We actually have had phone conversation 2 or 3 times. Love her spirit and everything. Love this cover. You see this cover, this beautiful black woman with the sunset inside of her. This is a historical book that takes place in the 60s. It deals with the main character, Betty Ann, and what she went through with her mother. Her mother, she had a horrible mother. And something happened when she was 15 and she leaves town. I'm just going to say that Reverend Jackson, low down. And I just want to say she travels and wind up meeting some very interesting characters. And these characters, some of them had a crazy life. Just imagine the 60s and some of the things that's taking place today is not nothing new. I'll put it that way. And I just want to say also too, her oldest aunt started this book, and it went from her to her youngest aunt. Both of them passed away, and it's like she inherited this manuscript, and she finished because her last aunt wanted her to finish the book and was like, "Please finish the book," and she finished it. I just want to say this is a awesome. If you love historical, you cannot go wrong with this book. This book is so good, and it's not that long, but I'm telling you, it is a very good book. I highly recommend this book, especially with Black History coming up next month. This will be a very historical book to read, and I do my Black History every February. So I'm just saying, this right here is the book to pick up if you haven't already. You can find this on Amazon, the ebook. You can also follow her on Instagram, and I think the paperback is now up on Amazon. Last I checked, it wasn't, but I think it's up there now. It should be anyway because this came out last summer. Is when this book actually came out. So again, Sinking Sand by Miss the Lovely B. Cartwright. The next book is like the second book I read in 2020, right after the Brian W. Smith book. This author is not new to me. I've read several of her books. She actually writes with her husband. They're like a duo, and they write along also too. I just want to say that I love what I read here, and I am talking about Lovebird by Ashley Antoinette. This book deals with Noni and Dom. Noni is just finishing college grad, and she goes to this gala. She's trying to network because she finished in accounting, and so happened bump into Dom, and things happen, and she wound up going on a trip with him to Mexico. She's going for one thing, and he's going for something too. But when you read to find out why he really wanted her to go, you can be like, wow. They get together. I will say that, get married and everything. That best friend Tat, trifling, low down, low life. The betrayal, the drama, the murder, it's all in this book. If you're looking for all of that, it's in this book. Highly recommend Lovebird by Ashley Antoinette. My next book is by an author to me that's so underrated. Read several of his books, have not read one I was disappointed or let down in. I am talking about Counter Punch by Dwayne Vernon. This book here is mm, is breathtaking. I just want to say it is Whew. It deals with, I'm going to try to say his name. The main character is Zori, and he's a boxer, and his cut man is Taylor. They're in a relationship. Well, they're not in a relationship. I'm just gonna put it that way. They're like cut buddies, I guess what I'm basically saying. This book shows you, to me, what I take away from this book is that you need to be careful who you let in your life, whether it's personal, professional, because that's what this is. How you relate with people. Obsession is a dangerous thing. And that Taylor, oh my God, Taylor Smith was crazy. Cool. This book is twisted. Secrets. It'll make you mad. Parts in it bring tears to your eyes. It gives you everything. I highly recommend this book. Counterpunched It by Dwayne Vernon. This book right here is definitely a page turner. I loved it. Anything he writes, I'm gonna read because that's just how good he is. My next book is a book that my literary twin Diane talked about. Her friend Cece talked about Crystal. And I had just finished reading a novella by a author that is a legend, like that's really been in the literary world for a long time. I mean, decades. And I was so disappointed in what I read. And I was like, oh, it just put a bad taste in my mouth because I was like, I cannot believe this author wrote this. This author couldn't have wrote this. And I needed a pick me up, basically. And I was like, what book do I need to read next? And I just came into this room and I just started looking, and my eyes landed on this book, and I was like, yo, this is the perfect time because the sequel comes out the next month. And I am talking about the lovely Jill LaHunt, Midlife Crisis. Whew. What would you do if you were married to someone 20 years plus? You get a phone call at night asking from the hospital, it's emergency, asking for your spouse, and your spouse is not there. They hang up. Something don't sit right with you, like something is not right. You know what hospital just call you, so your instinct kick in, and the next day you go and see what's going on. Baby, you're not ready for midnight crisis. This book right here was all of that. My favorite character from this book is Aunt Connie. The sister Janelle has her issue. Carol, Sylvia, loves Sylvia. Gary, what he did, I'm just gonna leave it right there. This is the sequel to Midlife Crisis, Invitation of a Wife by Jill Hunt. It picks up right where this one leaves off, with more so of the other characters, but still does it still talks about Gary and Sylvia and where they at, where their marriage is going. I put it that way. But this one right here she left us with a cliffhanger. LaJill, I'm gonna need part 3 to this real soon. Highly recommend both of these books. My next book is by a book by an author. I'm sorry. My next book is by an author that I've heard so much talk about, and I was lucky enough to get a copy, both of these copies, because it's like a series. And when I say I was not disappointed, I I am talking about www.gov by Madison. This book here is about women who is destined to bring down this organization that consists of doctor, lawyers, government. When you read this book, you are gonna flip out. That's all I'm gonna say about this one. I talked about this book so much. A literary sister, Felicia, started reading. She was like, "Oh my God, this book right here, I literally could not put down." www.com and www.gov. These two books right here, whew, and these characters in this book, Seven is a trip. The things that she does in these two books, along with other women, but Seven just had my attention all the way through. This book deals with murder, secrets, betrayal, drama. Did I say drama, drama, drama? These two books I know is on Amazon ebook. Please do yourself a favor and pick up these books. Last I checked, they're $4.99. These two right here is, oh, I guess I need to say thebomb.com because that's what it is. I mean, these two books took me through some things. I mean, I was like, the author who wrote this series, she know a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. The next book is by a friend who is dear to me. Love her. And I just want to say she reached out to me and asked me to do a book review. And I just want to say that I'm so honored to have done this book review for her. And I'm talking about the very lovely Chantelle Sims, The Rake. The main character, Kane, in this book is one of the strongest female characters that I've ever read. I mean, graduate from law school. She starts up her own gambling. I just want to say the things that took place in this book blew my mind. It made me wonder, Chantelle, do you know anybody who did this in real life? Drama, murder, twisted. And what she did, the old girl in the desert, blew my mind. Whew. The Rake is a must read. I just want to say the next book is a book by a big celebrity who, when I found out she was going to come out with this book earlier last year, I was like, oh, okay, I'm here for it. And I'm talking about no other than Mariah Carey, the meaning of Mariah Carey. I just want to say I learned so much about Mariah. This was a great memoir. At times, I would stop and watch certain videos when she talked about what was taking place in her life in this book, like Glitter. I don't care what nobody said. Glitter, I love the movie Glitter. The soundtrack is awesome. She talked about Tommy Mottola, the marriage, how she felt. Her brother and sister, I just can't with them. I really can't. Um, Again, the meaning of Mariah Carey is a must read. My next book is by an author who is a New York Times bestseller. A couple of her books have been on the big screen, and I am talking about no other than the lovely Terry McMillan. It's Not All Downhill from Here. The main character, Laretha, which they call Lo, is turning 68. Her husband wants to give her a birthday party, but she's not with that. Her husband go ahead and do it anyway. Then after that, a tragedy happens. The characters I didn't like in this book were her sister Odessa. Odessa, she felt like she was old something because the way low life was. She kind of, I'm not gonna say fed her, another took care of her, but she felt privileged, like her sister owed her so much and everything. Loved her mother though. And this book is about friendship and getting old, and it's really not all downhill from here, but that's just the title of the book. It's got drama in it. It gives you everything, and it has parts in here to make you cry. You know, Terry McMillan is a excellent author. I do feel this is my second book by her. My first was A Dollar a Day Short, and it just makes me just shake my head when I see these younger generation talk about, oh, she's no good, and I've been stopped reading her stuff. I love her work. Matter of fact, I'm definitely going to go back and read Mama. A lot of people have come on and watched the actual review I did of this book and told me you need to go back and read Mama. And I do have Mama, so I plan, if I can fit in my schedule this year, I plan to read Mama. But again, It's Not All Downhill from Here by Terry McMillan. This book was very good. My next book, when I tell you this book took me through, when this book had me up at 3 o'clock in the morning when I had to be at work then at 6:30, I am talking about Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. I always have trouble saying her name, Picoult. This book here is going to be made into a movie. Don't know when it's coming out, but I can't wait. This deals with a nurse who goes to work one morning. Her name is Ruth. She do her nurse's report and she goes into this patient room. She proceeds to get the baby and help the mother to breastfeed. And the husband speaks and say, stop, go get your supervisor. Well, the supervisor come back and he tells the supervisor, I don't want no black person touching my wife or my child. So you won't believe what happened next and what they decide to do. This book turned into show you how racism is in this country and how it really haven't changed. And the activities that happened this year with the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, the Ahmaud Arbery, and just so many others. It just show you how hate is. And Ruth Lawyer, the things that she looked at herself and was like, am I a racist? I just want to say Turk and Brittany was the couple who didn't want Ruth to touch their baby. When you get to the end of this and you find out what the real deal is, you're going to like, oh my God, are you serious? Really? This book right here, It made me mad. I had to put it down a couple times. It was just that rough. But an excellent read. It could teach some of these people that's closed minded and racism. Wake up. This is Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. I definitely highly recommend. Those are all the books that's on my that paperback and hardcover that I've read that was on my best reads for 2020. But these are more that's on my that's on my Kindle actually. Voices of the Bayou. This is a book of students at this college telling their story of racism, police brutality, the Katrina flood, and back to what I was saying, you can learn something from these stories if you are racist or you are racism, and it just it just right now in this time it's hard for me to even talk about, but this book was an excellent read. I highly recommend it. It also talks about the Elton Sterling killing in Louisiana. My next one is this author reached out to me. I want to say it was on Instagram also too. Is a page turner, and I'm talking about S.R. Fletcher, The Twisted Way That I Love You. Whew. Mm-mm-mm. This book right here, it starts out real crazy. Taylor, I just want to say, Taylor is a wife, a mother. Lance is her husband who goes off. It's in the military. A tragedy actually happened to Taylor, and he just felt like he had to take care of her, which was a great thing. He goes off to the military, comes home, and with PTSD, and he started doing drugs. And he just ups and leave her and the baby. So she goes to doing things she could to survive, support her and the child, such as stripping and prostituting. I'm gonna leave it right there. But the things that happened in this book had my mouth on the ground. Taylor mother, she was kind of sick in a twisted way. This book right here is a page turner. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, oh wow. The Twisted Way That I Love You by C.S.R. Fletcher, a must read. My next book is by one of my biggest supporter, and I love her dearly. And no further ado, I'm just gonna go into it. The Face of a Stranger, Carrie Anderson. This deals with Fasty. It deals with Trey, Tay, and Devon. And it's like Fasty's always been in love with Devon. He's like goes off to college, NFL. He comes back home thinking he can get back with her, but she's in a relationship with Tay. And this book right here talks about her family. You get to know her family and some things that you think isn't in this book. Full of drama. It's a page turner. I Face of a Stranger by Carrie Anderson is a must read. My next book is by an author who also reached out to me actually through Messenger on Facebook. I've read her before with another author, and no further ado, I am talking about Love, Trust, and Pleasure. Brothers of the Chemist, Kim's series. Kaya Leaks. This book had me on page one when that tragedy took place for Kwame. Love what happened with him and Carmen. When she got rid of that deadbeat boyfriend. Love this book because him and his brothers very successful, have their own private each business. The way it left off, I can't wait to get into book two of this series. This is a must read. Love, Trust, and Pleasure by Kaya Leaks. My last final book, I read this book. Actually, I finished this book last month and it just came out this past Tuesday. Black Buck by Mateo. This book deals with Buck, a successful young man who's in high school, graduated valedictorian, and his mother pursued him to want to do more, but he's a supervisor at Starbucks. Lo and behold, he meets someone, Brett, and sells him this coffee and had conversation. He come back in there another day and he tells him, "No, I want to fix this for you, not what you want." And he fixed it, and he liked him. He was like, "Come upstairs, and I really want to um basically offer him a job." And he gets this job, and there's this character by the name of Clyde, and he is, ooh, you would just have to read this book. Racist Clyde. I could not stand. This book give you everything about what's going on in the world. This goes past police brutality. This is racism in the corporate world, and it does exist. I've experienced on several occasions, and it should not. We should all be treated equal when it comes to work, life itself, but not so in the world today. Thank you for watching. I went over a little bit. I'm over 32 minutes and some, so I do apologize, but I wanted to get much as I could about each book. But these are my favorite top reads for Robert's Reading Room for 2020. Thank those who support me. If you have not subscribed, Robert's Reading Room and Reviews. I'm also on Instagram, Robert's Reading Room. My Facebook group page is Robert's Reading Room and Reviews. Thanks for watching. I look forward to reading more books this year. Good night.